Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Kate's Food Fiesta. Today we're going to make a bit of an Aussie classic. It's a zucchini slice. It's super easy to make, really tasty, great flavours, and it's a really versatile dish. It's great for, brunch or lunch, packing in a kid's lunchbox for school perhaps. It's just such a great dish, really easy to make, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you. So let's get cooking. Here we have our ingredients. So we've got the standard stuff that goes in there, and of course I'm putting my own little spin on things. So I've got a couple of extra ingredients that I've thrown in, but I'll just talk through that now. So we've got our zucchini, which has been all shredded up in a grater or whatever. You may need to remove some of the moisture from the zucchini if it's too wet. We've got a bit of flour, that's just a self-raising flour, and we've got some diced bacon, about 200 grams of that. We're going to be putting 5 eggs into it. And then we've got some onion and finely chopped onions, and we've got some cheese. So I've done a mix of cheddar and Parmesan here, but you can just use cheddar. Parmesan I really like, it's got a much stronger flavour and you don't need quite so much of it. So there's an option there. And then we've got a little bit of oil. I have tried it with coconut oil and olive oil, and it just doesn't seem to work. So this is one time that we do actually use vegetable oil. I don't use vegetable oil a lot in my cooking, but this is one dish that I think is really necessary. It's just a mild flavour. Now here on the right hand side, on my right, is the little things that I add in. Then you can get a little bit creative if you want to. So I've just got some corn and some diced red peppers or red capsicum, and then my lovely little jalapenos, some pickled jalapenos, and I just put those on top. It's a really nice combination of flavours, but these are optional. You can make it without that, or you can add those in, or you could add things like some grated carrot perhaps. A friend of mine mentioned that they put some curry powder in it as well. So yeah, you just have a bit of a play, see what you've got in the fridge and the freezer, and add them in. Okay, time to get started. So I've got my eggs here, I've cracked them into the bowl. I'm just going to give them a little whisk, and then we're going to just start tossing in the other ingredients. So yeah, just give these up. They've just got to be whisked until they're blended. It's nothing too crazy. Kind of get a creamier texture or consistency once it's all blended. Nice and quick. The next thing you want to add in is the flour. So this is the only thing that really has a proper sequence to it, I guess. Now we do need to sieve this. Now the reason you sieve the flour is it just stops it becoming clumpy, and it sort of aerates the flour a little bit. It is quite important to sieve it, but if you don't have one, you might just need to have a little bit more of a whisk to try and make sure that becomes a smooth sort of paste with the flour. All over my whisk, but that's okay. Okay, there we go. And then you just stir that around, whisk it around, and that's going to make a nice paste. That's the base for the slice before we add the veggies in. So yeah, you want to make sure that this is all whisked in and combined together before you try and add all the other veggies in. You want to make it smooth. Sticky paste. Nice and smooth. So I'm going to just start adding all the other ingredients in. So we're going to go the zucchini, all shredded up, looking good. And I do recommend sort of trying to mix that stuff in. Don't just chuck everything in as you go. Try and mix it in before you add the next thing. It'll just make it easier, not so much bulk. You can see I'm using my spatula and flinging stuff in places. It's going to be so good. Got some onions. Now you do want the onion really finely chopped. I have seen some recipes of this, people actually sort of pan fry their bacon and onion before they put it in here. I don't, and it's fine. It does bake for 45 minutes in the oven, so it does cook in that way, but some people might like it a little bit more cooked. You can do that if you want to dirty up another pan and go to that effort. And it also depends on the kind of bacon that you're using. I know in Australia our bacon's quite cured, but in other countries the bacon's a bit more like a raw meat. Certainly in the UK when I was there, that's what it seemed to be. So you may want to cook up that sort of bacon if that's the style that you're using. Like I said, you're just mixing everything in. Next we're going to add our bacon, all diced up. You can see you just want to mix each one in at least a little bit, just so you can get that dispersed through. Okay, my red peppers. So you just add some colour pop to it and some nice flavour. Corn, I've just used tinned corn. You know, it's fine if you could be again bothered to cut it off a cob, then go nuts, but I just like to make things easy for myself. And again, you've got that red and that yellow. This is going to be so tasty. So I'm just going to add the cheese. Like I said, this is a Parmesan and cheddar mix that I've got here. Just mix that through. I really like how pungent Parmesan cheese is. Right, now we're going to add the oil. 1/4 cup of oil in there. I actually have made it with butter. Melted butter was probably the only other alternative to this oil that's quite good. It depends what you're focusing on. If you want to reduce your saturated fats, then butter's probably not the best. But it actually worked quite well. It was probably the only other alternative I found, because you need that liquid form to sort of lubricate all the ingredients in here and bring it together. And then last but not least, I've got my seasonings. So I've got a bit of my Celtic sea salt here. Again, do this to taste. And my cracked pepper. You all know by now how much I love this stuff. Okay, so we're going to mix that in. So the only thing left is the jalapenos, but I actually put those on top of the slice. So we're just going to mix all of this in and then pop it into a baking tray, a baking pan, and then top it with those jalapenos. Right, so final step, we're just going to pop it into a casserole dish. So I've greased this. Again, I've said before on other things, you can use baking paper if you wish. I just seem to like it a bit better when it's cooked in the pan. So, yep, I've just put some oil in there and just greased that around to make sure that it's all up on the sides and everything. I might just do that again and make sure it's all up there. Okay, and then we're going to pop the zucchini slice mix now into the baking dish. Spread it out. Size. This is going to be so tasty. Yum, yum, yum. Don't waste anything. Make sure I get it all out of there. Cute. Okay. Then just spread it out so it's nice and even in the baking dish. And then I'm just going to top it with my jalapenos. So sort of stick them in there. They end up sort of, I don't know, sort of when they cook, they dry out a bit or something. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I just like to just add a really nice flavour. I don't know how I came across this. I think I had a massive jar of pickled jalapenos and needed to use them up. And yeah, just came across this and it's just such a tasty addition. Okay. So now we're going to pop this into the oven for 45 minutes at 180 degrees and yeah, we're good to go. So I've just taken this out of the oven. It smells amazing. It looks great. I'm really excited to eat these for my lunch today. But just a couple of other little points about the dish. So it's freezer friendly, so you could make like a big tray of it and cut it into slices, portion it up, and then stick it in the freezer and just bring it out whenever you need it and zap it up in the microwave. Also, just a couple of other things. There's, some gluten-free options, so you just replace that self-raising flour with your gluten-free flour. Obviously making sure that your bacon and whatnot is gluten-free as well. And we've also got our vegetarian option, so you could just actually remove that bacon entirely. It's not vegan, obviously with all the cheese and the eggs and whatnot, but certainly a vegetarian option there too, if you so choose. But yeah, it smells amazing. As you saw, it's pretty easy, just a little bit of food preparation required. And I'm going to be eating this and going to be enjoying it uno momento.